All right, what's going on? Welcome to another edition of The Jump Cut.
El Cato Jumpe.
Yeah.
Is that what it would be?
We can call it that. I'm your host, Nigel Fullerton. Sitting with me is
Spider-Man. How are you?
Spider-Man's here. Hey, listen, guys, we have no geek news tonight for you. No geek news, but
There's no time.
We do want to go over all of the 22 movies in the Marvel canon just because Endgame's coming out this week.
So we had to cut out geek news because whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
So we have a lot of movies to go over. Yeah, we have a lot of movies to go over. The Marvel Universe, basically the MCU, started in 2008 with the first movie, Iron Man.
We're starting with Iron Man. We're still going to chronological.
Yeah. You want to go chronological, or you want to go of release? Because I was going to go release. So the first movie is Iron Man.
All right, Iron Man starts with showing the new era of how these movies are like going together.
Yeah,
it's the first movie to kind of show the new formula. It shows Tony Stark going through his paces, and it's a very, very fun movie.
It's one of the things that. It's something that's not Spider-Man and Batman, because this is the first that we've had that. At this point, we're used to Spider-Man, Batman, Superman.
Yeah, and it's not Spider-Man, but it shows kind of like you have Robert Downey Jr. and he's not acting. He's just basically playing himself.
He's playing himself
with a new name,
right?
And with a bigger budget.
And as I watched it, because I watched it recently, he was a bit of a drunk, and they really didn't talk about the devil in the bottle story.
Yeah.
But if you look at the early Iron Man movies, he's drinking a lot, and there's a big arc when it comes to Iron Man, from the Iron Man that we know in this first movie all the way to Endgame now.
Well, also Tony he was like a little pack mule. He used to hide treats all around the studio. So, and if there's scenes, I don't think it was in the Avengers, but we'll review that later. You see, he's eating some blueberries. He's like, blueberry, and he was just eating blueberries. He just hit him in the set. They always had to take his snacks away from him. But he just pulled it out.
Did you call him Tony Stark?
Yeah. Tony Stark, because that's what the character was. He would pull it out.
Robert Downey Jr. has had a twisted lifestyle. So if he's throwing blueberries at you, that's kind of a good thing.
Yeah, so that's pretty good. So yeah, overall, I think that movie is really entertaining. I'm trying to keep this short and sweet. There's some that we can elaborate on, some that we don't have to.
Right.
But Iron Man 1, great movie, highly recommend it. Still feel like I'm flying. It does also start the tradition of having really bad final arcs of Marvel movies.
You think it really was a bad final arc?
It's not terrible, but it could have been better.
I actually like Iron Man. It made, and let me just say this because I have how much these movies made: $585 million at the box office.
And keep in mind, this is before. Yeah, it's just 585 million.
Yeah,
this is before these movies were like really big in hype. It's just that this movie happened. Everyone's going around saying, "Oh, have you seen Iron Man? It's so good." And everyone's just thinking, "Oh, but that's just like a nerdy superhero thing."
I don't think it was. I mean, listen, before Iron Man came out. I mean, do you know, like, there were cartoons that had, like, Iron Man had his own cartoon in the 90s.
No,
and it was like really short lived, but nobody really knew a lot about Iron Man.
But this was also before. This is before people. It was really pop culture, you know.
Right.
So like when it happened, you have the one group of people who were excited about it. Comic book fans, non-comic book fans kind of felt and then this started the tradition of people going to watch it. They came off the heels of the X-Men movies.
Exactly.
But they're going to this and they're seeing it for the first time instead of because it's a like comic book movie, but because it's a good movie.
True.
So next movie
we have is the Hulk.
Is this the original?
This is the second adaptation of
the Incredible Hulk.
The Incredible Hulk. Yes, This is with Ed Norton. It's actually supposed to be a sequel to the original one, and it leads off. It was
a reboot, though.
It was a reboot. It was a soft reboot, but just because they changed the guy. Hulk is very forgettable. I don't know.
Incredible. I don't forget it just because of when it came out. Because it came out at the right time. I was a kid when it came out.
Right.
Like when Iron Man came out, I was in like 6th or 7th grade.
Yeah.
And I just remember all the hype behind it. When I finally watched it, I saw what it was. But when I saw the movie, I remember there were like some really bad editing choices in it. Like there were some points where like you see he gets out of a car and then it goes to the love interest and it cuts back to him and he's wearing a hat all of a sudden.
Right.
And it's just like little things like that. It seemed kind of careless. I thought, was it the Abominable Hulk or whatever?
Yeah, it was Abomination.
The Abomination.
Was the guy that he went up against. It was supposed to be the anti-Hulk. Wasn't good.
Well, the movie, regardless, is not really super canon because they replaced him with what's his name?
Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo. So, well, the original guy was.
It was just
Edward
like
Norris?
from the original guy was Eric Bana.
Eric Bana.
Yeah, Eric Bana. Basically, what's happening is that a lot of times the actor was Eric Bana.
Eric Bana. Okay.
Yeah.
I was confused. I was saying Eric
his
Banner.
name was Eric Bana. Yeah, but I remember both of the Hulk movies were trash. I didn't particularly like any of them. I wasn't invested. I think what it is with Hulk is that he doesn't have any like super famous villains that we're interested in. You know, Abomination. I forgot who he was fighting before. I think he was fighting General Thunderbolt Ross in the first one. But he doesn't have any clear cut. You know, like villains, and like Aaron's saying right now on the boards, he's saying that Hulk show was better,
and it was,
and it was. It had to be.
But we're spending a lot of time on the Hulk. We got to move on.
All right, let's move on. Hulk actually made 200.
How about this? You keep track of the chat.
You do that?
I'm gonna set a timer.
You gonna set a timer?
We're gonna do timers. So
all right, we'll do a timer.
We're gonna dedicate 2.5 minutes to every movie. Timer. So I'm gonna set this to 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Okay, we're going to time it. Let me finish it up. Hulk actually made 263 mil.
Let's do it.
All right.
So let's
get to the next one. Is Thor.
All right. Thor, a fish out of water story, starring Chris Hemsworth.
Okay.
This is his first super serious role. Because he was in Cabin in the Woods before this, I believe.
Okay.
He does a great job playing him. Basically, Hulk gets thrown out of Asgard. He's in his territory, and he's on Earth now. And now he's trying to live amongst humans. And he says he's a god. They don't believe it.
Right.
And now he's kind of moving forward.
Well, yeah, because he's coming from Greek mythology. A lot of people know of Thor and know of the Greek mythology of Thor, and now he's coming to Earth, and like everybody's like, "Who is this guy with the long blonde hair?" I like Thor. Okay.
I liked it. I didn't love it. I thought Loki was kind of a boring villain. He wasn't really interesting until they brought him into Avengers.
Yeah, I think over time I started to like Thor. I think that's what it was.
It's very. What I liked about the first phase of the MCU is it's very harmless and it's very like unoffensive.
Yeah,
it's very just like focused on giving you the plot.
Right.
But you know, after a certain while, you kind of get sick of hearing the same plot over and over again.
And again, we don't know too much about Thor and his.
We didn't know much about any of these characters.
True, but I think it's more when you have an Iron Man or you have somebody as interesting as Spider-Man or whoever. It wasn't with him in Thor, but it was okay. I didn't like it when I first watched it. Watching it again, I started liking more.
I liked it when I first watched it. I think that just looking at it with trying to like look at it with unfiltered, unrose tinted glasses. It was overall an unimpressive movie, but still somewhat fun to throw on. It's like one of those really like, like a 70 Metacritic kind of movie that you can just throw on and enjoy.
I loved Odin in it.
Odin was really good in it.
All right, 623 million.
623 million. Oh, so it made more than Iron Man.
Yeah, it made more than Iron Man and Hulk.
So it came. Well, Hulk didn't do well. That's kind of surprising to me because it's coming off the heels of Iron Man. I guess not good trailers. And then Thor's doing a good job. Thor did a good job. I guess there was still hype behind the series, even though looks like Hulk, and not in the grand scheme of things, blundered, but kind of faltered.
Cool.
And we are out of time, so we got to go to the next one. Let's go to the
next one. Next one is Captain America: The First Avenger.
Wait,
you want to start it? 2 minutes. Okay.
All right, Captain America: The First Avenger. Let's have you start this off. I did the last couple.
All right. Captain America: The First Avenger basically is the story of a kid that could not get into the war. He could not get into the army. So what he did was he took some super serum that made him super strong. He started fighting the Red Skull and all the other Nazis, and basically got frozen in ice. I think that's it.
Yeah. Was Red Skull around when he was fighting the Nazis?
Yes, he was. Red Skull Red Skull was the person that was ahead of the Nazi or Hydra.
He wasn't, but before he got. Oh, that's right. Then he got frozen. That's right. I'm trying to remember the movie. What I liked is that they showed another kind of fish out of water story.
Okay.
Even though it happens later on, I think it's arguably one of the top 3 best MCU movies.
Right.
Really well told story. First half was like a really fun development of who Captain America was.
Right.
Second half was him accomplishing his goal, and it all felt seamless.
Yeah, and he was a chorus girl for like 5 seconds.
Yeah, I liked how they showed. I liked how they showed Chris Evans' character. I can't believe
his name is Chris Evans. Yeah.
Yeah, but his character.
His character is Captain America.
Captain America. Well, the name.
Steve Rogers.
Steve Rogers. Thank you.
It's all good.
When you had Steve Rogers, sorry, we're running out of time. I'm kind of getting frustrated.
That's okay.
When you have Steve Rogers, kind of selling himself out to like the military to sell war bonds to make money,
right,
instead of using his powers for greater good, and then you see that development where he's like, I need to be doing better than this.
Exactly.
Because from the beginning, when they threw a dummy grenade and he went to go cover the grenade and get all the squad away from it, so he didn't kill them, that kind of shows his determination, and that sticks with this character, and it's a defining trait of who he is and what the audience can relate to.
Okay. All right, you ready for the next one? Actually, let me finish that off with and also, did you like it or no?
Yeah, like I said, it's one of the best Marvel movies.
It was okay for me. I wasn't wowed by it, but I did like the lead up to the next movie we're going to talk about is Avengers.
Yeah, because it's called let's just finish this off. It's called The Last Avenger or The First Avenger because
First Avenger.
He's like chronologically, I guess, the first Avenger in this.
Well, technically,
series.
Thor is the first Avenger.
Yeah, but I guess. But anyway, we are out of time. Let's move on to the next one.
Let's go.
And wait. Start.
Let's
do it.
Next movie is The Avengers. Yes, we got Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, Captain America, Hawkeye, and Black Widow.
Captain America made $370 million.
Yeah, Captain America made $370 million.
All right, so Avengers was a big deal when it came out.
Yes, it was.
It was a massive deal. I remember Avengers, if you were somewhat attuned to pop culture in the slightest, you knew what the Avengers was and you knew you had to see it.
Yeah, I love the fact that this was the biggest team up movie we've ever seen.
First time done like live action on the big screen.
Exactly. They built this up through all of these movies. We had Nick Fury, Samuel L. Jackson, who made cameos in the first couple of movies of these. Also Iron Man 2, I think we forgot.
We'll come back to it.
Yeah, we forgot Iron Man 2, but that's okay.
All right. So Avengers is because we already started this. We already started.
Yeah, we already started.
We can't.
It's okay. We forgot Iron Man 2.
Anyway,
it's okay.
The thing with the Avengers is that they did a really solid build-up. The only time you really saw S.H.I.E.L.D. in the movies was in the after-credit scenes.
Right.
It was done really well, really smart, and it was really well placed. Justice League. Okay, so but going back to what made the Avengers so interesting was the fact that you're seeing all these characters interact. You're seeing a really simple story, just saving New York. And you see Loki get more fleshed out as a character to where people like, and it shows that Marvel's starting to mature a bit. They're like, okay, we had enough of this kind of like making the kids feel like they're flying.
Right.
Now let's give them a really interesting story.
Yeah, it was amazing, honestly. This was probably the biggest thing for any geek or any person. Like this was it was like homecoming for them.
Yeah.
Aaron Taylor says Avengers started the merger of comics being cool and pop culture, which is true.
I'd say Iron Man did that.
I think Iron Man did it, but I think
Avengers solidified
this
it.
right here. Avengers made $1.5 billion at the box office worldwide.
So that's not for nothing.
Not for nothing.
Okay, so we have 25 seconds. What'd you think?
I loved Avengers.
Love it?
I could watch it over and over again.
Same.
I've watched that mostly. I've watched it about 5 times.
My only complaint, they didn't give Hawkeye and Scarlett Johansson enough screen time to flesh out the character.
Exactly.
But then when they did give Scarlett Johansson enough screen time, I kind of hated it. So we are down 5 seconds, so we're cutting it. We're moving on to the next one, which is Iron Man.
We're going to do Iron Man 2 and then go into Iron Man 3.
Let's do it.
All right. So Iron Man 2 is a sequel to the first one. Basically what happens is in this one, I believe it goes back to Tony's past. I think his father had made the arc reactor and alongside this other guy, Anton, who was exiled back to Russia. His son lived in Haiti. It's kind of like Creed 2. like this is exactly the same story as Creed 2.
Iron Man 2 is first.
Yeah. So anyway, It was with Mickey Rourke. Mickey Rourke played the son of Anton, whoever his name is. He lived in hate, wanted to take down the Stark name, so he built his own arc reactor and he built his own Iron Man suit to take him down. There's also Justin Hammer that's in this movie as well, who plays the second villain in this, who is kind of a rivalry of Tony Stark, not Iron Man.
Yeah.
I think that's about it.
Was that Whiplash?
That was Whiplash, yes.
So, all right. But the one thing I liked about the movie is they introduced a bunch of concepts. They introduced the concept of Whiplash. They introduced War Machine.
Right.
Which was really good because they gave Rhodey.
Well, yeah, they changed Rhodey's on us on this one.
But it's not even just that. But I like how they brought him from just being a on-the-ground kind of useless help to being someone who could genuinely be involved with Tony. Someone from the military being in that War Machine suit.
Right.
And being able to help Tony out, which is really cool.
Iron Man 2 did a lot of heavy lifting for Avengers, so we also need to say that also because it introduced Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow. It gave us more of Samuel Jackson as Nick Fury. So yeah, it was like a palate cleanser between all the other movies.
So what it didn't give us, and we only have 40 seconds. What it didn't do is it didn't feel like a really cohesive, entertaining story.
Right.
It kind of faltered a bit.
But you got drunk Tony Stark, which I loved.
It got sequelitis.
Yeah, I love drunk Tony Stark when he peed in that Iron Man suit. Forget about it.
But it got a bit of sequelitis, which kind of sucked. It's still a fun movie. Iron Man 1 was definitely better.
Right.
It's definitely one of the weaker ones. This is Phase 2.
Phase 2. So Phase 2 is after Avengers.
So this is the weakest one of Phase 1.
Okay.
By a long shot. And we are done. Let's move on to the next movie.
Our next movie is Iron Man 3.
Iron Man 3.
All right, you want to start off?
I think the Mandarin.
I just watched this a little while ago, so
yeah.
Yeah, that's all you know is Mandarin?
No, I was going to go into, but you started.
Basically, it's chickens coming home to roost. Tony Stark back in 1999 blew off Aldrin Killian, who was a budding scientist who found out this crazy thing to make energy in bodies like go crazy. I can't really tell you anything else about that, but fast forward, he ended up hating Tony Stark. This is a theme of his.
I mean, well, Tony's a playboy philanthropist.
Yeah.
And, he straight up gave away his address in this movie.
He did give away his address in the movie.
And he's like, come on, fight me, I dare you. And then he has helicopters
basically, it was about the Mandarin. And basically, the Mandarin was, Osama bin Laden character. He was a terrorist.
And I like that change.
Right.
I think they did a good job with it because that's a change to benefit the story. And I feel like most people who, weren't, big geeks on the comic got why they did that.
Right.
And it made sense.
Yeah, it made sense.
Bringing it into a modern era.
It didn't make sense for me in the time that it happened. What happened was I had to rewatch this movie and actually start liking it afterwards.
Okay.
Like in retrospect, I like it. When I first watched it, I wasn't too keen about it. This is the first movie that Iron Man actually does not have his suit for most of the movie.
And I like that. And
I like that.
And when they brought the Iron Man suit in, you see that the gloves just kind of bolt onto his hands.
Right.
And they wrap around it, and there's really cool high tech.
He even made his own low tech Iron Man suit with flamethrowers and all this
which
other
is
stuff.
Paying homage to the first movie.
Exactly.
Where he was in the cave and he had to get his suit.
Which, yeah, like I said, in retrospect, I love this movie. I love this movie more now seeing it because I don't like all the CG stuff that happens when we watch these movies.
Yeah, I remember seeing it when I first saw it in theaters. I was kind of unimpressed. I enjoyed it. I was kind of having an time with it.
Yeah.
I really didn't find myself wanting to go back to it much, but it was definitely enjoyable. I think the Iron Man series as a whole is pretty enjoyable.
Right. Well, this movie made $1.2 billion coming off the heels of Avengers.
And also keep in mind, this is Iron Man was the staple, the flagship of these movies. I mean, Avengers took over with that, but this Iron Man was still a king. If an Iron Man movie came out, it was what people wanted to see.
All right, you ready for the next one?
Yes, we are done with this.
Let's do it. Oh, we're killing this.
Wait.
You ready?
Start.
Next one is Thor 2. Yeah, Thor 2: The Dark World. You want to take this one off or?
I don't
all I need to say about this too well.
All I need to say about this movie is it was bad. That's it. I think this is one of the movies we could skimp out on. We could flesh out in the next one because
you know what's funny? When I watched Thor 2, I thought it was a little bit better than Thor. But I didn't. Yeah, I thought it was a little bit better. You get to see more of what happened in the aftermath of Avengers. Yes, this movie kind of was filler for us, but it basically capitalize on the brotherhood of Thor and Loki.
It was. Thor was never really a huge hit just because of the fact that it was Thor. He wasn't a character that was super well established or super well loved.
Well, we know the Thor movies weren't the best.
Yeah,
like we got to say that at first.
But not even just that. It's like the Thor character wasn't well fleshed out.
It wasn't.
He was just that boring Norse style.
Yeah.
And honestly, the movie doesn't really deserve us to really talk to in depth to it. It's not a great movie.
It's not. You get more of Natalie Portman.
You do, but the movie just wasn't. The movie wasn't fun. I remember when I first came out, I actually didn't see it, and I didn't see it for a year.
Oh no, I
had no interest in watching it.
I made the mistake of watching it in the movie theater.
And then I watched it a year later, and I think I just got bored through it. Yeah. So I had no interest in it, but. Yeah, listen, it's your decision in the end of the day. We're all seeing Endgame, so.
I mean, yeah, the only last thing I have to say about this is that it introduced the Reality Stone in this one.
Yeah.
Before the Tesseract was out, and I think the Mind Stone was around as well. Not sure, but I do know that this is the first time we see the Reality Stone in Thor: The Dark World.
All right, so it's a bad movie. Next one.
It also makes $644 million.
That's chump change compared to Avengers.
I know.
All right.
Ready?
What's next?
Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier and go.
Captain America Winter Soldier.
All right.
This was the espionage tale of Captain America.
And it was dope. It was Captain America, but what if it was Mission Impossible? And what if it was actually memorable?
And directed by the Russo brothers.
Yes. I said this, I think, last time.
Okay.
Mission Impossible is such an unforgettable franchise to me.
Right.
I would watch one of the movies, I'd enjoy myself through it, and then I'd forget a day later that I even saw it or that it even exists. Happened with Road Nation, happened with Fallout. I stopped caring. Mm-hmm. So...
Captain America 2, this is the sequel to Captain America. We find Captain America, I guess there's another time when chickens come home to roost. His friend Bucky, who died in the first Captain America, is out of the ice, I guess. I forgot how he came to be, but we do know backstory with Civil War and the rest of them. You know what? I do forget what happens. I think was it Hydra and Shield? They had their beef going on.
Yeah,
I think that's what happened.
Yeah, and then I think at the time it was also Shield kind of closing down on Captain America and Nick Fury.
Yeah,
I almost said Nick Cage. That would have been a very bad mistake.
Well, basically, Captain America was the enemy of the state. He was running from Hydra agents and Shield agents at the same time. Mm-hmm. He didn't know who to trust. He didn't know who was viable. I think Gary Shandling is in this movie too.
I don't remember.
Yes, he is. He's in a couple of movies. He's in the Iron Man movies as well as Winter Soldier. He plays the senator that Tony Stark cursed out.
Well, regardless, the movie was a very fun spy movie.
It was.
One thing that's really unfortunate, I keep falling asleep through it. I think it was a long movie, if I recall. It was like 2 hours. Winter Soldier.
No, I didn't fall asleep on it. I know this is the first time that Nick Fury started shooting guns.
Yeah. But I just remember seeing it. I fell asleep a couple times. I had to rewatch it and give my full attention because I'm always tired. But I think
Aaron said it was boring. He didn't like it.
It was a slow build up, high payoff. I didn't really care about the whole thing with Bucky.
Okay.
But
I just like seeing the Winter Soldier just kick ass.
Yeah.
I think so. I think that was the best part of it.
Overall, I recommend watching it if you like the action and spy movies. Mm-hmm. If you don't, it's not really much of a superhero movie as much as it is an espionage movie.
Right. $714 million.
That's some espionage money.
All right, you ready for next one?
All right, down to 5 seconds. Let's stop this. And what are we reviewing?
We are doing Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah, it came out first.
Go. Incredible movie. What a movie. Awesome soundtrack. Brought back the cassette.
The ragtag team of...
It brought back the cassette.
I don't think it brought back the cassette.
It did bring back the cassette.
You still have cassettes?
The cassettes are being sold in large right now.
Who has a tape player?
Everyone who has a car made before 07.
Yo, I don't listen. If you have a tape player right now, kill yourself.
Whoa, whoa!
I'm sorry.
Whoa,
I'm sorry. You're already about to die.
Guardians of the Galaxy is the only thing the soundtrack is the only thing I would buy on a cassette tape. Cassettes are awful, and you should feel bad if you have cassettes.
It does make a good playlist. It's about a ragtag team of aliens that are trying to take down the Ronin. I believe, right? He's the head of the Korean Empire.
And we actually see glimpses of Thanos in this movie.
We do see. Well, we've seen glimpses of him before,
but this is like the new Thanos.
The most, yeah, this is the most that we get to see of him.
This is also the Thanos, because you also find out his relationship with Gamora.
Right.
You find out
Nebula as well.
I'm way making this sound. It sounds like Thanos has an arc. He does not have an arc. He's on screen for like 5 minutes of screen time.
Hey man, he's on there enough.
But
I watched this last year. I remember.
I watched it last weekend.
Oh wow.
I watched this in preparation.
Oh, so you did watch some of this stuff. All right, cool.
Yeah, there's, like I said, the movies I didn't remember too. I wanted to rewatch.
Yeah.
I remember watching Guardians of the Galaxy. I had the most fun in the theaters I've had in a long time.
I didn't think I would. I really didn't. And then I watched this and I loved it.
You have Chris Pratt, who actually, I saw him in this before Parks and Rec.
Okay.
He was brilliant in this, brilliant in Parks and Rec as always. He became one of the most high demand actors
after this,
of the time. Like he was in the Magnificent Seven after that, and he did a couple other movies too.
Jurassic Park.
Oh God, I saw the movie 7 times and I just did not like it every time.
Yeah.
Well, cons of working at a movie theater.
Well, this movie again, $773 million. Yeah,
$773,328,629.
Yeah, I didn't want to say all that.
Actually, you said it switched.
Yeah, no, I switched this. I was switching the movie order.
Oh, gotcha.
Because Age of Ultron is next.
Age of Ultron. Well, okay. In conclusion, Guardians of the Galaxy, go see it. Great soundtrack, great movie, fun, and it's just such a lighthearted film.
Yeah.
You know? But anyway, we are out of time.
Next
up is Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron, Avengers 2. James Spader as Ultron.
I fell asleep during the movie.
Did you?
They actually apparently had some licensing issues, and they had to CGI out some of the characters.
Did they?
Yeah.
Well, I know they had to do a lot of heavy lifting also for this movie as well to set up for Black Panther.
Well, there is unlivable hype for this movie though. Like Avengers Age of Ultron had like. It was living up to the Avengers hype.
Right.
Avengers regarded at the time as the best Marvel movie.
True.
So, like, you're seeing Age of Ultron, everyone's so excited for that same fun feel, and it's just such a boring movie. Marvel has a history of having really boring villains and really focusing on the heroes. Mm-hmm. It's like, look at The Dark Knight, right?
Okay.
Has a villain who you can understand his motives, you can somewhat sympathize with him, and you like to hate him as much as you love the main character, and you see them equally kind of have that banter. And in Age of Ultron, they try to do that with Ultron.
Well, I felt like this movie, besides Ultron, I felt like this movie was trying to do a lot of, like I said before, a lot of heavy lifting for other movies. Whereas you see little things for Ragnarok, you see little things for Black Panther, you also see things for a Black Widow movie if it ever happens, and you also see a little bit pointing toward the Infinity War.
Yeah.
You see a lot of things, and this is all coming from Scarlet Witch using that Mind Stone to trick everybody into doing stuff. You also get to see Hulk versus the Hulk Buster.
I was so happy because I thought this was going to be House of M, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
Well, just give me House of M, please.
They couldn't do House of M because of the whole mutant thing.
Yeah, I know, and it sucks. But
yes, like Aaron said, it kind of was filler. Mm-hmm. Yeah. In retrospect, if you watch,
I'm sorry, I can't say it's filler because it was meant to be a main series movie.
It was meant to be, but it did a lot of
just because it. I don't call it filler. I call it bad.
Okay.
That's what I would say. Like there's filler that can be beneficial. This try to do things, and if you never saw Age of Ultron, you would not miss a thing.
True.
So it's bad. Don't watch it.
Well, it made $1.4 billion
because it's riding the Avengers hype.
Yeah,
which made
1.5.
Yeah,
so it wasn't really that bad. It was riding the Avengers train. Coming in next.
Would you recommend it or no?
I would, just to get the connection between the other movies. Okay.
We're out of time.
All right.
So what are we reviewing next?
Next one is Ant-Man.
And start.
Oh, Scott Lang. Heist movie.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. So Scott Lang is a lovable loser, I guess we can call him. He's an ex-con that basically gets tricked into becoming the Ant-Man for Michael Douglas.
Okay.
Yeah, who plays Hank Pym. Correct?
That's the name of the character?
That's the name of the character of Ant-Man, Hank Pym. Basically, you don't remember?
I saw this movie like 3 times, and that says something how I don't remember the name of the characters. I do have a history of not remembering characters' names.
Oh, my goodness. But Hank Pym is Ant-Man.
I know.
and Jenna Van Dyne is the Wasp.
Yeah, no, but I don't know. I don't remember it.
All in all, this became a heist movie. It was actually really good. I liked the characters they had. T.I., the rapper, is in it. Also, Michael Pena. His stories
Hilarious.
in this movie are the best.
Oh my! This is Michael Pena playing. He kind of breaks from a stereotype a little bit, just a little bit. From
he plays stereotypes in every movie he does.
Yeah, he breaks a little.
Dora
bit.
the Explorer.
Yeah, but he breaks a bit from the typecast. He kind of is still involved in it. I love how the movie, the editing is so much fun.
Right.
You're given, Michael Pena telling a story. It's happening alongside the scene happening.
Right.
You see the character's lips moving in lip sync with his.
Stanley's cameo, crazy, stupid fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was super, super enjoyable.
You also get the Falcon, who has a cameo in this movie.
And this is like, it felt like, it's like Ocean's Avengers Edition.
Yeah.
You know? You're watching this movie, you're living in this scenario where you have Ant-Man basically not doing what he doesn't want to do,
right,
but for the sake of other people.
Mm-hmm.
And now that he's doing it, he's kind of finding himself to enjoy it more, and he's shifting from that thieving type character to a more heroic type character.
Exactly.
And he's changing as a character from being that criminal. He wants to he ends up using those skills for good. Mm-hmm. And I think Ant-Man he's going to become a very integral part based on what I heard for Endgame. His development.
You and your spoilers.
He goes to Thanos' butt. What can I say?
All right. 519 million on this one.
I'm surprised it didn't do that well. It was a really fun movie.
It was a fun movie, but a lot of people didn't know.
Okay.
All right. Next movie. You ready?
Yes.
All right. It's Civil War.
All right. Let's restart.
Captain America: Civil War.
Start.
It's
Blue Balls, the movie.
Why would you do that about this movie?
Because I saw the movie and it was really fun.
Okay.
This is the first ever movie I saw on my own.
Right.
So I watched the entire thing straight through, and then the end came around. I'm like, I thought there was supposed to be a part 2. Like, I remember looking at movie release schedules back then.
So yeah.
So it ended on a cliffhanger, complete cliffhanger.
For you, it ended on a cliffhanger?
Yeah. It ended with it was Tony and
we're giving away spoilers. Yeah, it was Tony and Winter Soldier and Captain America fighting.
Yeah, and then it just kind of cuts to black.
So the whole movie basically is setting up for this whole fight that happens between the event. It's basically the Avengers breaking up.
It's a schism.
It's basically the Avengers breaking up.
Yeah.
Where you have, and they also go by the Sokovia Accords, which separated everybody. Again, licensing issues couldn't let a lot of these characters be there like they want to be, but we do get to see Spider-Man in this movie.
Yeah.
We do get to see Black Panther.
That was a good point, Aaron. Ant-Man is a Marvel comedy. Sorry.
Yeah, it was. But yeah, you definitely get to see Black Panther, and you get introduced to Spider-Man, who is Tom Holland right now.
That's what I love so much about it is you see Spider-Man's character. The whole fight scene. I have a friend who's involved in film,
okay.
and they said this really interesting thing that they think the fight scene was just designed to sell toys.
It was,
but I thought it was there was more an entertainment factor to it.
No.
I think that, you don't think it was...
Secret Wars was made for just to sell toys also?
No, but I'm saying the actual fight scene.
Yeah, the fight scene was
I'm saying,
made to sell
what I'm saying
toys.
is that there's more entertainment value than just what is there.
All of these movies are made to sell toys.
Yeah, but looking at like in Star Wars, and they made what's it called, the little...
Right, they made it to sell
things. Yeah,
right.
those are made to sell toys.
Yeah,
but we only have 30 seconds.
Okay.
But that scene was really fun. I really enjoyed it. I liked seeing the characters' powers intermingle with each other and fighting each other, and seeing their defense and offense skills kind of gives us a hint on what we can expect their limits to be for future movies.
All right.
Overall, I really enjoyed it. I definitely want to see it again. I didn't get a chance to.
I did see it again. It's not as great the second or third time watching it.
Sounds like Infinity War.
It's different. Black Panthers is not the same Black Panther.
It's not the same actor?
It is, but it's like the way that he... I don't want the time.
We gotta cut it.
All right,
we're out.
All right, fine.
We're starting the next one.
1.1 billion. I'm sorry, 1.1 billion.
What are we on?
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange and go.
I hated this movie.
I like this movie.
Why did you like it?
Why'd you hate it?
I did not know what was going on. It reminded me of Inception. I hated Inception.
All right, let's do the bit. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna say what I like. You shoot it down with what you don't like.
Okay.
All right. I liked the introduction of Doctor Strange as a character.
Okay, that was okay.
Okay. All right. I like I like Doctor Strange going on a journey to kind of better himself and find other ways to utilize his lack of skill.
Okay.
Agree?
Okay.
Okay.
I think I know what I don't like.
Okay. I like.
I think I know.
I liked his I liked his indoctrination into the role.
Okay.
And becoming actually Doctor Strange.
Right.
I liked when he was going traveling dimensions and like learning those powers.
That was cool. I'll tell you what I didn't like.
Wait.
Okay.
Learning the powers, having a lot of fun with it.
Okay.
I liked the Dormammu. I've come to bargain.
I like Dormammu.
So, all right, that's everything I liked about the movie. I liked him. I liked his intermingling with the characters. I think Dormammu is still a boring villain.
Right.
But overall, it was an enjoyable movie for that factor alone.
Okay. Dormammu's a boring villain, but so is Doctor Strange as a hero. He is a boring hero. He does not fight.
Yeah,
he doesn't fight. He does the same thing that Scarlet Witch does, where she does the thing with her hands and stuff like that. Listen, it's boring to watch a whole movie of Doctor Strange if he doesn't connect the punch. Number one. Number two, the whole thing with the time, with the Eye of Agamotto, with the time thing going back in a warp. Basically, he just annoyed Dormammu to death, so he would stop. That's it. I'm sorry. That's the whole thing. He said, what's the solid storyline for the movie? We really didn't know his origins. Exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
We didn't.
But we didn't know his like definitive origins. We learned that he broke his hand in the car accident, like
right.
permanently, to the point where he couldn't perform surgery anymore as a doctor. And
he tried everything just to get his hands back.
Yeah, and then what eventually happened is that he got his hands back, but he ended up also becoming the holder of the Eye of Agamotto,
right,
for eternity until he dies.
Basically, he's Tony Stark without the Iron Man suit.
We got 5 seconds left, so we got to give the.
All right. What was it? It was Doctor Strange. $677 million.
And we're out of time.
Out of time. All right, cool. Let's get to our next movie. We are talking about Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
And
let's go.
I did not like this movie.
It wasn't as good as the first one.
Not even just that. I just didn't like this movie.
I liked it for what it was doing, but it wasn't as good. It could not live up to the hype of Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
I think you're wrong, and I hate you.
Galaxy 1. I'm sorry. Why?
The movie revolved around him. It was basically Star-Lord, the movie.
It was.
I saw this movie twice.
Okay.
I think this actually was one of the movies better seeing the second time.
Okay.
You see him meeting his father. You see him kind of like growing in this world.
Which is cool as Kurt Russell.
I've spoken about this on the show before.
Okay.
Yeah, Batista. Everyone's basically doing more of what the fans wanted.
Exactly.
But not to the benefit of the movie. You have Batista. His character is Drax.
Drax the Destroyer.
Yeah. So Drax is giving more of those one-liners.
Okay.
It's not very entertaining.
Because
they're funny every now and then,
right?
But he's dishing them every 5 minutes.
He's dishing them, and then you have Mantis also.
Yeah, so then every 5 minutes you're getting that. They introduced Mantis to the girl with the little
right.
These things.
Mantis. That's what her name is.
I think he made a funny joke about her where he just called her ugly, and like things as he keeps harping on that joke.
Hey, and man, listen.
I get Marvel.
It worked. I mean, it worked.
It didn't though.
It did. I think it did, man.
You're sitting there with those jokes, and yes, they're jokes, but it was just boring. I spent too much time on this point. You get it. I didn't like. I liked how Gamora and Star-Lord started having that interaction, like with that love interest developing.
Okay.
I think Rocket Raccoon was very cool, developing as his character, kind of growing to be more responsible.
Right.
I also think that Groot going through his angsty teen phase was hilarious.
I don't think he was a teen yet. He's Baby Groot in this one.
He was
Baby Groot.
Yeah. So we have 30 seconds left.
Okay.
I did not like the final act.
Okay.
I did not like his interaction with his father. I felt it was very boring and slow paced.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the rush of them doing the events in the final act.
Okay.
I just think that the entire interaction between him and his father is boring. I thought that the movie lacked the charm of what made it really, really entertaining.
Okay.
So we are out of time on this. I give it I say watch it if you're craving more Star-Lord action. If you really want good Star-Lord action, play the Telltale series. Okay. I think it let down because season 2 never happened. And we're out of time. How much did it make?
Okay, it made $863 million.
$863 million. All right, that's good money for a not so good movie. What's up next?
Spider-Man Homecoming.
And start.
Do I have a Homecoming? No, I don't. It's all good.
I have the Spider-Man video game box.
Okay, cool.
But you know how we feel about Spider-Man.
Yeah, we
We're
love
obvious
Spider-Man.
about it. We like Spider. We like the Spider-Man. We
So this was probably, I want to say, for me, the best Spider-Man iteration.
Oh, it's definitely the best. Tom Holland actually was a teenager,
Okay.
so that helped. With it. Playing a 16-year-old, he was 18, I think.
Yeah, I like the teenage aspect of this. I felt like it reminded me of what Spider-Man, the essence of Spider-Man, what he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
A lot of cool things happened. He was his mentor was Iron Man in this one. Marissa Tomei as Aunt May. Yeah, that was a game changer right there because
she was young. I remember Aunt May from the comics.
Aunt May was always old.
The late 60s, the earliest.
She was always old. This is the first time.
She was in her 30s.
She's actually not. She's in her 50s. She's
in her 50s. Oh, that's right. They established that.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. And plus, her and Tony Stark actually, like Robert Downey Jr. and Marissa Tomei have worked together before.
Okay.
So you saw that chemistry, between them.
Yeah.
I like this movie.
Okay.
I really did. I don't know what else to say about it.
It was very fun. I like how they established how Tom Holland as Spider-Man needed to swing through the city.
Right.
He when he went to Grand Central Park, he just had to walk. Or run through it. Vulture is a very good character.
Yeah,
played by Michael Keaton.
I was about to call him Bruce Willis.
Who ended up becoming Birdman.
Yes.
Birdman was before this.
Birdman was before this. He also was Batman. Let's not forget that.
Yeah, I'm not forgetting that, but I'm just saying I find that correlation funny.
Yeah.
We only have 46 seconds. He was very entertaining as a character. I liked his kind of angst. I like his interaction with Tony Stark. I did not like the Mary Jane thing.
Okay.
I liked his partner in crime. I felt like it was very cool. It was kind of, I like the way they did the bully in this movie. Mm-hmm. He was kind of what a modern bully would be, not like a jock, but kind of an intellectually slightly superior kind of person.
Right. Just two
even
things.
Though he really wasn't.
Just two things. Aaron, I need you to watch the original 3 Spider-Mans again and check out the CGI on those. And yes, and 50 is not old, but we thought that Aunt May was old as 60 in the cartoons.
6 seconds. I liked it.
All right.
How much? How much money?
It made 880 million. I'm sorry.
And we're out of time. All right. Now we're on to the next movie, which is
Thor Ragnarok.
All right, and go.
All right.
Hold on. Start. Thor Ragnarok? More like Boar Ragnarok, am I right?
You didn't like Thor Ragnarok.
Thor Ragnarok.
You didn't like Thor Ragnarok.
It was okay.
I like the change that it made because the other 2 Thor movies were like too.
I'm glad we actually harped on Thor as a boring character earlier because this shifted. This is a whole entirely new change.
It's different.
It starts off with Thor being super meta in a cage, locked up underground,
right,
in like some hellish realm. Right. I forgot. I think it's Jotunheim.
Okay.
In a hellish realm where he's just kind of saying, all right, and Barry Wonder going to get out of the situation, kind of like, record scratch, how did I get here? Mm-hmm. That pace continues throughout the entire movie. He ends up getting crash landing on a new planet, gets kidnapped, forced to fight in a gladiator pit.
Gets that haircut.
Yeah, loses his eye.
Loses his eye, yep.
Which doesn't matter anyway later on.
And he has to fight his sister, Hela.
Yeah.
That we're forgetting. Also, we get Doctor Strange in this movie as well.
This movie, you get, when they go back to Asgard, it's boring again. I liked Hela as a villain, but I liked it more on Earth. Like the whole movie was on Earth, I would have enjoyed myself.
Okay.
I think going back to Asgard kind of bored me with it. I like how they had Loki kind of like as like the magnificent hero, and then
when he was acting as he was Odin, yes.
And then when Thor comes back, he's just like, this isn't right. This isn't it at all.
Yeah.
Thor being more self-aware is what made it more entertaining.
Also finding out that his brother was alive for the second time.
Yeah. I mean, you can't kill. Yeah.
But the thing about Thor is, especially the first Thor, it was directed by Kenneth Branagh, who is a Shakespearean actor. He also was Hamlet at one point in time. So you get the whole Greek mythology thing. That's what he was pushing for in the first Thor and the second Thor.
Well, to establish my feelings of this movie, I watched this movie initially. I watched it in theaters, enjoyed it.
Me too.
I watched it again on Netflix because I actually wanted to test out my speakers because I connected them to my TV. And then,
Aaron's funny.
But then I started watching it, and as I was watching it, I just kind of kept watching the movie, and I watched the whole thing.
Right.
And actually, I find myself tuning out for the last act for these movies.
Yeah, I mean, this also was trying to set up for Infinity War as well.
Yeah, these are all because Infinity War is a cluster.
Right.
Blank.
Because Hulk falls into Doctor Strange's Sanctum Sanctorum.
So this was overall a really fun movie. I think what it set up was more important than what the movie was itself. How much did it make?
Again, $853 million.
And we're out of time.
Cool.
All right.
Now we're getting back to the moneymaker. The bread box. I know you don't like this movie, but I do. It is Black Panther.
And go. Why'd you have to spoil that?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. My bad. But yeah, Black Panther, the first Black Marvel superhero in the MCU.
That's wrong.
Except,
I'm in the MCU.
I'm sorry. Falcon was the first one.
Yeah, he was. He was in Ant-Man, right?
Yeah.
And he was also in Civil War?
He was in Winter Soldier.
He was in Winter Soldier, and then he was in Civil War.
Civil War as well.
We're not reviewing those movies now because we already did that. All right.
Yeah, but
Black Panther.
Black Panther is self-explanatory. He is the king of Wakanda, African nation. His father was killed by it was the guy,
a member of the tribe.
No, it wasn't a member of the tribe. It was something that had to do with Civil War. I forgot the guy's name, but it doesn't matter really. Basically, what happens here is that he is the king of Wakanda. He is challenged by his cousin, who is also has the blood of the royal. He didn't know like his long lost cousin, I guess it was, and they duke it out for all of Wakanda, for the kingdom. He loses his title and gains it back, and they have a big fight at the end. I think that's the bulk of the movie.
This movie, a lot of reviewers. I'm just going to put this out there. A lot of reviewers were really scared to review it because they either were not black or not a minority.
Okay.
This movie was really important about is it did give a black superhero on the big screen for people who like didn't have that when they were younger.
Listen, man, I had Blank Man and Media Man.
Yeah, Static Shock.
Static Shock was a cartoon.
Static Shock was great though.
Yeah.
But the movie itself, I felt like it was pretty mediocre. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great.
I think you were hit by the hype. I think it was
because like people hyped it up as the movie of like a generation, the movie of like a whole like spiritual thing. It really wasn't that. I respect what they did. I think they built a cool world. But overall with the movie, it's just like it really did nothing for me. Like I'm watching it, it's just that I like the villain more than I like the hero. Like way more.
Most people did like the villain more than the hero, but that's the thing. That's the
first Marvel movie where that happens.
Well, yeah. Well, this is the thing. This movie was made for you to to see both sides of it. To have like empathetic.
But it's not.
villain.
It's not whether or not I'm empathetic towards him. I'm saying as a character, like just entertainment value. I like the villain way more.
Most people did.
Yeah.
Most
so I don't know if you felt that way.
There was a meme that said Killmonger was right.
Yeah. So
$1.3 billion.
$9.3 billion. I really enjoyed the movie to an extent. It was Nigel?
Made more than Iron Man 3. I liked it.
Cool. And we're done with that. We're on to the next one, which is
Infinity War. You've been waiting for this. You've been waiting for this.
Me no likey.
We've been talking about this.
So I got 2.5 minutes to rant.
Okay, go for it.
Releasing half of a movie doesn't make it good or bad. It doesn't warrant an excuse for it to be a bad movie, okay? The movie was developed entirely for you to watch in one go and to be entertained, that's it. Pacing, garbage, okay? If you're looking at the pacing for this movie...
Okay.
You're looking at the pacing... Look at the pacing for this movie. It's about 2 hours long. I think 2.5. It did not need to be that long. It fits so many things into the movie that did not need to be there. The entire movie is built for your first impressions. You're watching it, and as you're watching, you're sitting there trying to like figure out what's happening next. You know what's happening next. The movie has no rewatch value. Then fast forward to the final arc where it's just a bunch of stupid mistakes being made, and I'm just sitting through there. I'm like, okay, please get on to the next point. The entire thing's on Wakanda. Wakanda's a boring setting for this to happen.
Wakanda's not a boring setting.
It made sense for this because it was a big battle.
Hey, listen, they just got in trouble for demolishing a city. You want them to demolish another city?
Yes.
They can't do that.
Give them my money.
They have to go someplace like Africa where there's nothing to demolish.
I am giving them my money.
You're giving up your money.
I'm giving them my money.
I've told you already about this, and we keep fighting about this. I told you have to listen. I get it. Infinity War had to do a lot of heavy lifting. I understand that. Listen, a lot of these movies had to do a lot of heavy lifting because there's a lot of stuff to get you and go through. So there's so many different characters. Listen, you have to watch this part. This is Infinity War Part 1. Endgame is Part 2. It goes together. And yes, it's 5 hours long. I get that, but so is every single TV show that we watch, but every single TV show that we watch in succession, if you put them all together, that's a lot. Remember when we watched those Marvel shows on Netflix and we were like, yo, that's a lot of hours we did? This is what Infinity War is, and this is what Endgame is.
Yes, and remember when I said I didn't like that? just
nah, man.
Going through Infinity War, watching it a second time, I tried to be very honest and tried to be very unbiased with it.
Right.
I just couldn't. It wasn't fun for me. I didn't enjoy what was happening. It took way too long to establish points. And by the end of it, I'm just left sitting there like, great. This whole movie happened. I got nothing out of it. Yeah, I need to see Endgame, but this movie should be good as a standalone piece. And we're out of time.
All right, that made $2 billion. All right,
that's all you get for my ranting of Infinity War.
Yeah, it made $2 billion.
Now we're on Ant-Man 2.
Ant-Man 2.
Start. We gotta restart.
Well,
go on.
This is the first Ant-Man where we introduce the Wasp. Yes, people, the Wasp, who is actually a better character than Ant-Man. Ant-Man starts off as Scott Lang is on house arrest, and he is no longer allowed to be a superhero as according to the Sokovia Accords. So what ends up happening is that he has to help the Wasp, who is Jenna Van Dyne, and Hank Pym find his long lost wife, who is the original Wasp. And while they're doing that, there's a lot of people that are trying to stop them again. Again, they try to do the whole heist thing with this movie. I do forget I think Lawrence Fishburne's in this movie as well.
Yeah,
as Goliath. There's a lot of stuff that goes. I believe the villain is the Ghost.
Yes.
All right.
So we're going to my parts.
Yeah, go for it.
I did not like it. Okay. I thought it had some of the charm of Ant-Man. It didn't really contain what I loved of it. I like the introduction of another character. I think that Ant-Man was still my preferred character as a whole with this movie. I like what it's set up for. I like how it came out before Infinity War, I think.
It came out after Infinity War.
It did. Well, the post-credit scene was an Infinity War.
Post-credit was Infinity War, yeah.
I like what they did with that. I think that was very smart. And I think it was very smart how they established it in such a very subtle way. Okay. Because it's like you saw Infinity War, everyone was kind of broken up about like how the 50% thing happens. Okay. And now you're watching Ant-Man, like Ant-Man 2 right off its tail next year, and it's happened again. You're like, okay, there's some hope. You know? That was really smart about it. Rest of the movie, see it one and done. Ant-Man 1 I think had more of a rewatch value.
Again, this is a Marvel comedy. Like we've been saying, it's very, very funny moments in this movie. Very fun moments. It's a good movie that you can watch with your family, watch with your kids. I like. My mother likes this movie. My mother loves Ant-Man. I didn't know if I told you that before. My mother loves the Ant-Man series. I think it's for T.I. I think she really likes T.I. But
if they make an Ant-Man 3, I'm hoping that they kind of get what I liked about both and then end it there. How much did it make?
It made $662 million.
Okay, and now we are on to the last movie, which is Captain Marvel. You know how we felt about it. We gave a full review. You can watch our last episode with that.
$1.1 billion.
Just briefly, because we gotta.
Yeah. So basically, what are we waiting for this Endgame thing? What are you most excited about with Endgame?
One thing I just wanted to note is that, in my opinion, I felt that the Avengers movies, not the Avengers, but the MCU, as it got more and more intricate, it lost its charm.
What are your favorite movies out of this list that we said?
I love Iron Man.
Okay.
I love Avengers.
Okay.
I like Captain America 1.
Okay.
I really liked Guardians of the Galaxy 1. And I really liked Spider-Man Homecoming. And Captain Marvel was okay.
So like your top 5 is basically that. You don't have to just do 5.
If I had to switch it, Captain Marvel or something else, I'd probably put in maybe Winter Soldier or Iron Man 2 or something.
So Winter Soldier is in your top 5?
Because aside from those 4 movies, I'm like, with it.
All right, my top 5 is Iron Man, Black Panther, Infinity War, Guardians of the Galaxy, and the first Avengers.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So overall, I think I have decent hopes. I'm really not excited at all. I'm very neutral for Endgame.
I don't think you like the Avengers.
I clearly stated the movies that I did like. But going into this, I think it's better that way. I think it's better for me to go in neutral. So if the movie does blow me away, I enjoy it. You know.
I'm waiting for everything. I bought my tickets. I'm going on a Saturday afternoon.
I'm going on Monday morning.
Oh, yeah, I'm not doing the Monday morning. I'm going Saturday afternoon at 4 o'clock. Why? Because it's a 3-hour movie, and I'm gonna be sitting there with a whole bunch of popcorn, and I'm not gonna drink anything because I know I'm gonna have to go to the bathroom within that 3 hours. So I want to be there. I want to be glued to my seat, and I want to be entertained. I don't know about you, but I'm ready for this. I've been waiting for this for a whole year, man.
I've been tentatively waiting for a full year.
I mean, listen, I've been waiting for this whole Infinity Saga to finish, and I think it's going to tie up a lot of loose ends that's going on with all of these movies. I think it's going to tie
I love you, Aaron. It's okay.
I think it's going to tie up the loose ends that you're looking for. I think it's going to basically give us a newfound love for all the movies that we have here. And also, listen, $18.6 billion, and that's why I told all the money of the movie, $18.6 billion worldwide for this whole Avengers thing.
Yeah, I'm anticipating it. Like I said, I'm kind of neutral about it, but we are out of time.
Okay.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Jump Cut with this special edition called Rapid Fire.
Okay.
We reviewed 21 movies.
21 movies.
Actually, technically 20 because we already reviewed Captain Marvel.
Right.
You ain't getting that twice. I'm not revisiting it again.
Thank you guys for watching.
I'm one of your hosts. I'm Steve.
I'm Nigel.
Thank you so much for tuning into the Jump Cut, and we will see you next week with our thoughts on Avengers.
All right.
And this will be an Avengers episode.
See you.